Well, it is day 5. This has really been a blast. And I just realized I have a typo here, so I'll have to fix that after the fact. It says day 2 of 5. It's supposed to be day 5 of 5. Anyway, Valerie Pugsley here. I am a relationship marketing strategist and a growth mindset coach. And all this week we've been doing a 5 days to hacking your brain challenge. Because this is so foundational in anything that we're trying to do in business or in life. And it's my desire to help business owners accomplish more, make more, so that they can serve more people and still have time to be with their family and friends or do the charity work that they like to do. So just as a recap, get started on clarity today. We are the first day I just shared a story about just how powerful and amazing our brains are. On day 2, let me just grab my cheat sheet here. On day 2, we talked about lies, the lies that we've been told and that we have told ourselves and believed. On day 3, we talked about addiction, our addictions to emotions that can develop. And we also talked about stories yesterday, our language and our stories, right? We use language to create stories. We use language to label things, which can create an emotion and a feeling. So we can do it for the negative, or we can do it for something that's empowering and is going to move us forward. And today we're going to be talking about clarity. So clarity is real important. Once you have all these other things that you're at least working on them, right? I mean, for some of us, it may take a lifetime to get them all down, but at least you're working on those things. The next thing that we need to have is clarity. And the reason for this is well, for one, we live in a world with so many things drawing for our attention. When you're online, it's so easily to get distracted and, ooh, that looks interesting, and ooh, that looks interesting. You know, the queen of the bunny trails. Although I am reforming, we are changing that. I'm getting much better at that than I used to be several years ago. A lot of it has been because of some of this other work that we talked about, but also getting clarity. And a lot of times goals, people don't want to set goals. And I used to be one of those. I didn't set goals per se. I guess I kind of did, but they were very loosey-goosey. And a few years back, I started setting goals. I'm not sure if it's either 4 or 5 years now. And I made an attempt, but I really wasn't getting anywhere with them. Partly it was because of some of these other things that we discussed, the mindset stuff that needed to be worked on. I needed to hack my own brain so that it would be more productive for me and do the things that I needed it to do. But part of it was that I didn't really have clarity. I was doing those bunny trail things and, oh, this looks interesting and that looks interesting, this. And as a lifelong learner, I love learning. So it's very easy to go for something, you know, the next thing. There are some psychological things that cause us to do that as well. That'll be something that I'll be sharing in the class coming up in September. But when we have clarity, kind of that, you might have heard people call it, Simon Sinek calls it your why, operating from your why. Some people might call it a calling, a purpose, a passion. Any one of those things. What this is it's something that is kind of at your core. It's who you are, what you believe in, your values. It's all of that combined. And it's something that you're emotionally connected to. Because if you're not emotionally connected to it, then it's going to be very easy to get distracted by this thing and that thing. And it's also may not be something that you can do all on your own. You might need help from other people with that. And I developed a why worksheet a while back, and I've used it with some clients, and we've gotten some good results and increased income, increased energy, uncovered some purposes and dreams that had been forgotten. And in doing that, then they were able to make progress in the areas that they wanted to make progress in. And that's because once we're connected to our core and we understand it, then since we are connected to it, it's a lot easier to filter out the distractions. And knowing why it's important to you, why you feel that way, is helpful as well. Again, it helps you persevere when life happens, right? Life happens. Stuff happens all the time. In fact, right now, we're dealing with some stuff. We have a family member who's not feeling well, and so we've been taking some extra time to help that person out in a difficult time. But that doesn't change that I had made this commitment to doing this. It doesn't change that I have the class starting in September, or the fact that I'm going to be out of town and I still need to prepare for that. So life happens, stuff happens. But what is it that made me make sure that I could get to this? Because I'm committed. I'm committed to you because one of my core values and my purposes is that people matter. And I believe that anybody who's watching this, that they matter, that they have potential, that there's things that have been designed and created for them to do, that they have been designed and created in such a way to do and serve the people around them. And I want to help them be able to do that, whether it's through their business, through a nonprofit, or something else. But from my own experience, I know that we can have all the tools and tactics and calendaring and doing this thing and that thing and the other thing, and those things help. But until we deal with our mindset and we get clarity, that other stuff, it's not going to be as fruitful. It's much more fruitful when we have a purpose and we know where we're going. Think of it kind of like a GPS, right? If we're going to take a road trip and go someplace, we have a place that we want to go to. Now, there are different routes to get there, but we have a destination in mind. And that's what clarity does. It gives us a destination. Now, once you get there, can you have other things that you want to go to? Absolutely. You know, hopefully you don't want to do just one road trip in life. You want to do many, right? Another way that I heard this explained once that I really liked is think of it as the horizon, right? You have your horizon line, and if you're looking out over the horizon, say you're looking at a sunset, and you're like, I want to go there. Well, you'll never get to there, right? Because, you know, with the world being round, you just keep going and going. And life is that way too. But we still can have clarity in the process. And that's having those core things and we know what they are, and we're committed to them. And we can choose different ways of accomplishing it and getting there, but we have to know what's at the core first. So that's what that's the big deal about clarity. The other thing is that when you do have clarity, when you do know what you're doing, where your focus and your goal is, and it's more than just the one thing, it's knowing why. Why are these things important? Getting really to the core. Then when you create goals, they're going to be congruent with, you know, that internal goal that you've unearthed, if you will. And once it's congruent, then you're going to have much better success, much better results in actually accomplishing it. So as I've been doing this, some of this has been a sampling of the things that will be covered in the class. We'll be going more in depth with them, and there'll be a lot more things covered as well. But one of the things that I'm including is my why worksheet process, and the charter members will also get like a half hour where I'll go over it with them one-to-one. But because you're watching this, even if you're watching the replay, there is a link in the description for the why worksheet. And once you complete it, if you want, send me an email reply and I'll actually review it for you and maybe send you a couple of questions or see a few things that I notice in that to help you a little further along. with your clarity. And the other thing to keep in mind too is that it may not be something that you can do all on your own. Even though I know these things, I need help with it as well. It's kind of like, I've heard it explained that we're inside the bottle and we can't read the label. When we're in it, we're so into it ourselves that we can't read the label, and so we need to get help. In fact, I was working with a coach just yesterday to get help for myself. So we all need people to partner with and help us along this journey. So this has been such a fun challenge. I've really enjoyed it. I'm planning on doing more. So make sure that you've liked my page if you're watching this, that Facebook page, so that you'll know, hopefully you'll know when there's future challenges. If you're not on my email list already, make sure you get on that, and you can be notified of that as well. You can either go to my website and fill out the form at the top of the page, or you can message me here if you want help with that. And yeah, this has been really fun, so I think I'm going to plan on doing some more. If you do already have clarity, I would love to hear about it. Go ahead and put it in the comment section if you're watching the replay. I know there's a couple people here live. I'm sorry, I'm not seeing. Oh wait, maybe I need to move this, then I can see. Ah, Marcus is here. Great. Thanks, Marcus. It's good to see you. I hope you're still here. If you have any questions, I'll wait just a little longer, or if you do know what your clarity thing is, go ahead and put that in the comments. I would love to hear that. Maybe I can ask you a few more questions so you can get even more clear even here on the call. And in addition to clarity, why? Why is a good question to start asking? That will help you with clarity in life, even just in your day-to-day. When you set up something to do, ask yourself why. Why am I doing this? Why is it important? Because that's another way of doing it. And sometimes you might find that what you're doing is really just busy work, and it may not be as important as you think it is. And sometimes when you ask that question why, you're going to kind of get into that core of who you are and why it's important to you. And then that will motivate you to persevere when life happens, like when you have loved ones who get ill and you have to balance helping them and still accomplishing what you meant to accomplish, even if you only get 3 hours sleep, right? Because you want to serve people and help people and make the world a better place. So if I can help you in any way doing that, I would love to do that. Please, like I said earlier, make sure you're connected with me, email and otherwise, so that you know when I do future challenges. And that's the way that I can serve anybody, no matter what their circumstances. So thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. Marcus, it's been great seeing you again. We'll have to touch base and have a chat, see how things are going, and I'll see you around on Facebook. I might do a few live streams next week. We'll see. I'm going to be traveling some, so we'll see if there's time for that. And then I'll see you on the next challenge, if not before then. Thanks for joining me. Thanks, replay watchers. And let me know what you think your purpose and vision and goal is if you know it already. All right, bye for now.